will see this right before you enter your winning stage. What's your winning stage? When you finally fucking arrived and you know you're in control. Your winning stage is when you're awake and you know what to do with it. You feel the ascension process happening, or you have strong evidence that this is sustainable for me. So I can tell you a little bit about my journey and how I arrived in my winning phase and what's going to happen right before you get there. There is some signs, let me tell you. All right, so my journey has been a long one. It is no joke, guys. I do things the hard way so that you don't have to. I feel like somehow that's part of my divine mission, is like, do it all wrong so that you can tell people what not to do. And I look at our journey kind of like a jungle, energetic jungle. And I went into this jungle and fell into quicksand. I fell off a cliff, I swear to fuck. I just felt like endless struggle, walking blind in the unknown, having no idea what was happening, and just feeling completely isolated and frustrated. And then I would get momentum and I'd be like, all right, I've got this conquered. Here I go. And then all of a sudden something else would happen. And I'd be like, why is this happening to me? Especially with my awakening journey, it just felt like I was going crazy. Like, what do I actually do? So I kept going through this jungle. And then I realized maybe I should make some little, metaphoric markers as I go along so that I don't backtrack, so that I don't do these things. And then eventually I came to a clearing. There's this rickety ass old bridge across a cliff. And on the other side was this incredible, euphoric, amazing meadow. There was a waterfall. There was like all of the beauty on the other side of this rickety bridge. And so it took me a lifetime, it felt like, to get through the jungle. And then I had a choice. I could go back into the jungle, or I could hold my breath and be brave enough to cross the rickety bridge, knowing that that was going to be the scariest part of it, and then arrive. What happens is when we get to that bridge, that's when you know you're at your winning phase. So let's talk a little bit about how to navigate through that. Most of you, any entrepreneur, anybody who has this ache, this like, this is what I want. I know I'm born for something. I know I'm here for something. I know I'm meant to do something great. And then some of us are like, how good can it get though? And we just keep going and going and going, right? So if you have that ache, this video is so for you. You know you're here for something, and you know there's more to it than the 9-to-5 grind. So we go into that jungle. And the whole reason we go into that jungle is to clear a path for others to follow. That's what divine purpose is, or soul purpose, or the knowing, the ache, is all about. How can I show people the snares? I went through that jungle. I knew the quicksand. I knew the cliff I fell off of. I knew how to climb up that cliff. And I was like, hey, yo, like, don't go that way. That's where you're going to fall. It's this way. This is the way through. And then you get to the bridge. And that's right before your winning phase. So if you're an entrepreneur, you are meant to go through what you've gone through, but honestly, come together with like-minded people and figure out how to take the shortcuts together. That's what we're here for. Right before you get to your winning phase, or right before you arrive at that bridge, you're going to go through a phase of probably sabotage. Unknowingly, you're going to go through a phase of sabotage. And every time you level up to the next thing and the next thing, you're going to go through a little blip of self-sabotage, and you don't even know you're doing it. So this is what it looks like. Self-sabotage looks like going into trauma response. So mine is faint. Like, I'm like, I need a nap. I need to just take a time out. And I unknowingly will manifest in my body a cold or a headache or some reason to give my ass an excuse to lie down in bed and meditate. And that's when I realized, when that happens 2 or 3 days in a row, I'm like, time to have a little conversation with myself. Like, let's move out of this. Trauma response can look like pushing people away. Trauma response can look like feeling like you've gotten 2 steps forward and you're taking a step back and you just can't break through. It is the vibration within us, or the belief within us, that there's something to fear. It's not natural for us to stay confident. Confidence is not a natural thing. It takes confirmation to bring confidence with us, within our minds, within our hearts, in order to keep moving forward. And it takes a lot of self-discipline. But right before that winning phase, you're going to start to unknowingly start to sabotage or doubt it. If it's about your awakening journey, you're probably going to feel like you're 10 shades fucking crazy like I did. Like, what's happening? I don't understand. Your meditations stop. You start to stop getting downloads. Your psyche kind of slows down. And these are all normal things. And why are they normal? This is what I really want to talk about. So this is why this happens, all right? There's 12 universal principles. You guys hear me talk about them all the time. I'm going to talk about one in particular today. It is the principle of rhythm. Means it is an endless journey of ascension or expansion. So ascending into more prosperity, ascending into more wisdom, ascending into more spiritual gifts, ascending into a broader clientele, ascending into all of those things, like moving into more is like a coiled spring. And on that coiled spring, there's a little down before there's an up. And then there's a little down before there's an up. The other analogy that I really like with this one that I use a lot for my own self, there's always going to be a pause before it gets great. And it's up to you how great it gets. And it's up to you how you handle the pause. This is my mental game with this. It's like a slingshot. So if there is a pause in your meditations, or there's a pause in your finances, or there's a pause in clientele coming in, or there's a pause in inspired action, it's like a slingshot. In order for you to truly propel yourself forward, if you acknowledge that there's a slingshot and you let it be pulled back and you stop fighting it, it's going to let go and you're going to go way further. Most of humanity will feel the pause, or they'll go into self-sabotage. Same difference. You'll either sabotage or you'll just feel a pause in everything, and they'll go into panic. They'll go into fear. They'll go into, how do I fix it? Oh my God, what's the next plan? I'm going to try harder. I'm going to put more content out there. I'm going to drive into this. I'm going to do like an email blast, or I'm going to like really focus on my meditations, or I'm going to go to a silent retreat, or I'm going to go get like an energy healing. Like I'm going to do something to make this better. And when you're doing that, you're not allowing the pause to take place. You are getting flustered. You are flustering or complicating your energy. You're moving into low vibration and not appreciating what's happening. The pause is meant for two things. The pause is meant for you to self-evaluate. What do I need to let go of for this to take me all the way to the next level? Because you've got to let go of the things that are holding you back. The actual truth of our journey is if you don't have it already, you're not aligned with it. There's no magic wand. There's no spirit guide. There's no magic switch. There's no magic marketing scheme. There's no magic that's going to be like, poof, here you go. Good job. It's on you. We are energetic beings and everything is an energy exchange. You have to be the energetic match of what you desire to receive. And it is an endless self-discovery. It is an endless evolution. So if you are in chaos in that pause, you're not becoming self-aware. It is about stopping. It's about what is going on within me that has held me back up until now, right? I did a whole other video on self-awareness. What is in me that has held me back until now? And why is it now that I'm ready? Let's get clear. The pause is for that. The pause also often is for you to take a little recharge before you hit the ground running. And most people don't grant themselves that opportunity. We think we have to be busy to receive busy, and that's not the case. You will always receive what you are. So the pause in the principle of rhythm is designed within you for you to arrive in your winning phase. Now, the other thing I want you to think about is your comfort zone. How many of you have a New Year's resolution? I would love to see this in the comments. Is it fitness change like the majority of humanity? I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to eat healthy. Is it financial goals? Is it entrepreneur goals? Is it really taking the courage to leave your 9-to-5 grind and move into being an entrepreneur? What's your goal? Now, I want you to think about your comfort zone. So many people have this goal, have this vision, have this desire, and for some fucked up reason, wait till January to do it because somehow that's the time to do it. It blows my mind, but here we are. But I want you to think about your comfort zone as a little box. Here you are in the middle of this box. Your goal, if it is outside of your comfort zone, you're going to last for about 3 weeks. That's it. And there's a reason you're going to last for 3 weeks. We have neurological patterns in our brain that say, this works, this works, this works. When you jump way out of your comfort zone, you're going to be on the, yeah, I've got this. I'm so disciplined. Look at me and my badass era, or whatever fucking story you're telling yourself. And you're going way out of your comfort zone, but you haven't developed a neurological pattern to sustain that. So we go for 3 weeks and then all of a sudden we're like, oh, that was way too intense. Not only do we come back to the middle of our comfort zone, we crash and we hit the bottom. And then we go into self-doubt and we go into frustration, or we go into shaming ourselves, or we go into excuses often, right? Like, oh, I got busy, I can't go to the gym, or whatever it is. That is self-sabotage. What it actually is though, is you just seeking comfort. We are a species that's designed to enjoy comfort. So Stop putting your goal all the way out here. You won't sustain it. Your neurological patterns are, this is what has kept me alive and safe until now. This is what's comfortable for me. What you want to do is think about what's at the top of your comfort zone. What's at the very top of your comfort zone? So what's 5% change, and you're going to make that normal. As you're doing that, you're developing a new neurological pattern. So I want you to think about it as these deep trenches in your brain, and we go from like point A to point B. Well, we want to take point A and go to point C now. We're going to just like reprogram it. So when we do it in a 5% change, we start to develop that new neurological pattern. And then when you keep your focus there by just consistently increasing that, you start to dry up the old one and take over the new one. And this brings me back to the bridge that we cross right before you hit your winning phase. When both neurological patterns become equal, the old one and the new one, you're gonna go, your ego self, this operating mechanism of being human is gonna go, this is bullshit. It's not working. What's the point? I'm impatient. It's not happening fast enough. I give up. It's gonna do that. It's gonna throw a full ass temper tantrum for a day. Recognize it. If you catch it and you're like, this means I have a new neurological pattern that's equal, all I gotta do is tip the scale over to the new one and you will sustain the change. You will sustain it so beautifully and you will create more and more. And then you can really start to push forward with it. So it's all about that 5% action, all about self-awareness. It's all about like, where am I holding myself back? It's all about just the top of that comfort zone. And if you can do that, it's so good on the other side. You will arrive at that bridge. You'll be like, I'm ready. And you'll take your time crossing it. You won't look down. You won't question it. You'll just walk. And you will arrive at the other end. You will arrive in that euphoric, I fucking did it stage. And then you can get like a megaphone like I do and just yell to the crowds like, this is the way, friends. This is the way. All right, guys. I've done so many other videos on the 12 principles. Go check them out. You know my motto. You know my mantra. It's thank you, I love you. So until I see you again, go look in the mirror and find at least 100, okay, reasons to say thank you, I love you. We'll see you next time.